sure whether this is a 1. Yes, this is a 1.
Press.
That's a 1. All right, so this was going to be 2 separate events. So excuse me for just carrying straight on. I hope that you will continue to listen to us. We have called this a revolution. And some people have mocked the word revolution. I think it is a revolution. It's a revolution in the infrastructure, and it's a revolution in the way we teach and learn. And partners in this throughout have been the teaching profession, with all the concerns they have had, because for a long time, perhaps they weren't being listened to in previous times. But despite their concerns, they have continued working, teaching our children with fantastic exam results. And it's not all about exam results. That's one of the aspects of our revolution. But also the work they have done, those who have moved school, in moving to the new school, in preparing the new facilities. Those who haven't yet moved, the patience they are showing and the cooperation they're showing in the interim measures we're taking. So the teachers really are the heroes and heroines of this presentation. I must say that. And they know I mean it. I'm not just saying it. So, we all know about the new schools, but why do we know why they were and are so necessary? Well, let me just tell you what are the schools we had before we started this revolution. Bayside was built in 1972. Chief Minister often says that every time he went back it looked the same. I went to Bayside in 1974. I did my A-levels there and it still looked the same. A few additions which actually looked worse than the original, but still the same. Bayside, 1972. Westside, only 10 years younger than that, 1982. Lovely buildings, but not much room for expansion. And given a few more years, already getting tired. And the college, 1997, but was previously Bishop Fitzgerald School, which goes back a long, long time more. So, again, decades old. That's in secondary. In the middle school, or the upper primary school, St. Anne's, 1946. St. Joseph's Middle School, 1992. I have it in red because this was during the GSLP time. And that one, even though it's 1992, which is more recent certainly than 1946, but it was built not in a prefab building like some of the others, but in an old army building which has stood the test of time, and there we are. It's being upgraded now, and it will be to the same standard as the others. Bishop Fitzgerald School, 1997, but previously the old St. Christopher's from the MOD prefab from the 50s or 60s. St. Bernard's Middle School, we built in 2015. It had been in the old site at Sacred Heart, which again, I went to that school when it was a grammar school, so that is 50 years ago. So again, in red because it was done during the GSLP liberal time. The Hebrew School, if we go down to first and primary schools, because Hebrew School ranges through the whole first and middle school, 1896. St. Paul's, 1981. We're redoing it. It will feel like a new school. We opened the nursery just a week or two ago. It will feel like a new school by the end of the year. St. Mary's School, 1986. St. Joseph's Middle School, like the one I mentioned before, we've done, that should actually read first school. We've done the first and the middle school. Governor's Meadow School, again, 1997, previously an MOD prefab. And St. Bernard's First School, like St. Bernard's Middle School, it used to be in an old site which was also decades old. And St. Martin's Special School, 1977. So clearly, a revolution was needed. Nobody had invested in school buildings for years. They were tired. There was too much work to do in order to bring them up to speed, so we needed to build them anew. So I'm just going to take you through a few slides. You've seen a lot of these before. These are all available in the public domain. This is St. Anne's School. We're using the rooftops to great effect for sporting facilities, covered with netting to avoid balls falling over and so on. And a completely new, fresh style within the schools. Sports facilities again, classrooms, IT suites, music suites, library areas, This is Notre Dame. Notre Dame again, open, airy, colourful. And now we go into the secondary schools, the 2 drama studios, 1 in each of West Side and Bayside, the university feel and look as you go up the steps. Marvellous sports facilities. Each sport hall is bigger than the one in Victoria Stadium. You have an IT suite there, rather the music IT suite with the Mac technology, the dance studio, again 1 in each of the comprehensives, the kitchen facilities, another of the IT suites. Again, for the first time ever, on a school site, 2 rooftop AstroTurf facilities. And they're all sustainable schools with green walls. They have double glazing, they have solar panels, and so on. So they are sustainable schools as well. And work is already in progress on St. Martin's School, which direly needs to move. It's going to be a wonderful facility for our special pupils in the same campus as Governors Meadow and Bishop Fitzgerald, so there will be a seamless transition when we do outreach to first school and middle school, which is something that the teachers have really been wanting for. Now we move on to the new project, St. Mary's School in Town Range, with some artists' impression of it inside, to bring it up to the standard of the other schools, and the Hebrew school, which is moving into the site of St. Mary's, and these are some initial designs to show that the planning is going ahead in order to provide new facilities for this school that was built in the 1800s. And for the first time, we are today revealing new designs for the college on the site of the Cross of Sacrifice. These have come in relatively recently, and they show an expanded college which will be able to cater for all the vocational initiatives that I'm going to just briefly refer to in a minute. And that's just a few more artist impressions. So very, very quickly, I call it the benevolent revolution because it's a revolution for the positive. And things that we brought in, co-education, well overdue, it's working so well. The alignment of the key stages with the schools, so you don't start a key stage in your education, then you get torn away from one school and from half your friends who are of the opposite gender and moved into another school just before you finish that key stage. Nothing of that made sense. Again, a lot of hard work for the teachers and all the preparations. They've delivered and they're getting on with it. Project-based learning, which is much wider than the traditional form. You have a project, and then from that project you do your maths, you do your English, you do your geography, you do your history. So it really is much more involving. Vocational courses at level 2, GCSE equivalent. So a young person who's taking their options and who may perhaps not be academic or may be extremely academic but actually want to do something else. They may want to do catering, they may want to do engineering, they may want to do technical theatre, and they don't want to follow the traditional route. They will have an option now, and it's already started with Hair and Beauty, and more courses like computer studies coming in January will be able to take options to widen the range of courses in the marvellous facilities that they have in the new comprehensive schools. We're carrying that on. At level 3, which is A-level equivalent, they can start that at school and they can continue it in the college. We will also have the same vocational opportunities for a wide range, including computer sciences. We're very strong in Gibraltar, and sometimes we still have to import workforce in some of the computer technologies. We have to generate that here, and that is part of the plan, and we have already started it. Other manifestos actually say we should be doing this. We are already doing it. I don't know how some people, they obviously don't read our press releases. Well, there are enough of them, I suppose. Mental health is a top priority. We've assessed mental health profiles of all our school population, and we're doing so for our university population. We're developing a mental health database. We are providing training and support for teachers, and for the first time we've introduced 4 full-time counsellors, and our manifesto commits to 2 more, and 2 more educational psychologists to really look after the mental health of our school and university populations so that we can avoid problems getting worse in the future. This is a photograph we published of the counsellors when they came to pay me a visit, and this is one of the training sessions of the counsellors by mental health experts. There's so much in our manifesto. I've just put all the pages one on top of the other. I'm not going to go through it all. There's a lot in the manifesto on education. A few pointers: review of education as a whole and how education is managed. The Education Act will be renewed and published by the end of this financial year. There will be an Education Council. We will update all our education policies, and we will have 2 additional education advisors to help supporting the schools. The new school programs will be completed. The schools will all be upgraded, and we've done it. You know we know how to do it. You know we will do it. A school maintenance program. We'll have a lot of new real estate. We will have a robust maintenance program so they do not deteriorate. There will be a scholarship fund where we'll put money aside. It's a rainy day fund to ensure that we will be continuing and able to continue funding all our young people who are studying at university or other further education or higher education institutions. We are setting up a rental guarantor support scheme for young people who may have difficulties in finding their accommodation when away from Gibraltar. We will annually increase student grants, and obviously we are starting school lunches in about 2 weeks' time. Teaching and learning will evolve. We are going to be more project-based. We are going to concentrate more on the young people improving on themselves and less on having to be better than your peers. We are going to be concentrating on personal development much more, and wanting to relieve the pressure on young people at exam time having to outdo the next their peers. So we are completely changing the way we're doing it, including new technologies now, tablet-based learning. By the end of this academic year, all students will be using tablets to learn. Coding and computer science and the STEM subjects will be extremely high on our agenda. We will be introducing Arabic, which is one of the languages of Gibraltar, and Mandarin as core choices. Dyslexia support will be like never before. We will have every single child in the school population assessed regularly for dyslexia, starting in reception. We will facilitate access to the Caldwell Centre for Autism Support. There should be a paragraph there. We will concentrate on special needs, which will include high performance capabilities, something that we are not really catering for as well, perhaps as we should. We will have a teacher for the deaf and a pupil referral unit, and other things like free eye checks until the end of your university or further education, a Respect for Teachers program. So there's a lot there. I could go on for ages, but I won't. The message out there is, there has been a revolution in education. Things are moving. We've got a long way to go. You don't really want to start again. You don't really want people who really don't have the background that we have gathered. I've learned so much in my 3 years in education and shared it with the team. You really want people who are now ready to carry on where we left off, because we care, because you know we will. And as ever, I end with my beloved Alameda Gardens. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, John, for that comprehensive briefing on education and environment. Please join us at 3 o'clock, where Fabian and I will be talking about Brexit.